5 trillion. Estimated studies show that this is the amount that is being tax fraud every year by the richest of people around the globe. Quite funnily, these rich tax evaders are the same people who are imposed with high taxes. But the business tax fraud runs on only one principle. The more money you earn, the lesser tax you pay. Let's dive deeper and understand the strategy and loopholes used by the elite class to evade their tax liabilities. From the conventional loopholes to legal tactics, from swanky lifestyles to offshore businesses, from charity to private jets, the elites fund all of it through tax fraud. Golf is a very popular sport among the upper class. Many assume it to be their favorite sport as well. But golf is the second most favorite game of rich people. Evading taxes remains the first. We grind ourselves throughout the months and yet receive peanuts, that too after tax deductions. Meanwhile, our bosses earn 10x more than we do, but they only pay half the taxes of what we pay, and sometimes not even that. The corporate moguls have dedicated teams that don't just file taxes on one day of the year unlike us. For them, it is a year-round process that goes on. Now, let's look at some of the popular tax evasion rules. The no salary drama. You may have heard in the news or read articles about billionaires like Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Elon Musk from Tesla, and others who decided to not withdraw salaries at all or take minimum wages from their own companies. In reality, it is one of the loopholes they use to evade taxes on their salary income. They are so cunning that they use PR and promote it as an act of selflessness. Think again, would you create a billion-dollar company just to take minimum or no salary? Charity. It is the most common and easiest way to evade taxes. We often come across news about billionaires being so philanthropic that they donate majority of their income to charity for the welfare of the public. But behind this PR stunt is the reality where the beneficiary trust is usually owned by them. And when not, they already do internal agreements where the charitable trust returns them 50 to 60% of the donated amount in cash. The hoax of admiration for art. In movies and even in real life, we come across filthy expensive paintings or art pieces that are auctioned for millions, and people are bustling at such auctions and bid fortunes on a below average or completely bullshit piece of art. A middle-class individual will call it a waste of money, but behind all the hoax lies the truth that involves evil motives like hiding money in untraceable format, as the art market is the best option to hide money due to its flexible prices and buyer-seller anonymity. The capital gains tax is often exempted if the taxpayer uses it for charity or purchases a piece of art. Such art pieces and paintings are also traded to launder money. Family members as employees. In a lot of organizations, the owner's own family members or blood relative is designated at positions that are not even required in the company. This is usually done so the company can pay them high salaries and incentives, and later write it off their books and save taxes. This is a very common practice of laundering money by a lot of companies. Shell companies. This is yet another tool that is used to evade tax using legal and semi-legal methods. Shell companies are usually formed by the tax lawyers of big firms for the benefit of their firms, for their own benefits. These are companies that are not indulged in any kind of trade or service and are just dummy companies where money from different sources are transacted against false issued bills, and later these bills are presented for filing tax returns. There have been cases where some of the business conglomerates have been found to be operating dozens of such shell companies to turn their money from black to white using different sources. Ultra-lavish lifestyle. The elite class is often seen buying ridiculously expensive stuff, from lifestyle apparels to their cars, their mansions, and of course, a private jet. Private jets have been a status symbol among the ultra-rich. You aren't officially welcomed in the league of elites until you own one. Private jets are one of the fastest depreciating assets that help the owners in tax exemptions. this is also the reason why they buy overly priced sports cars that they barely drive around. But all of these expensive stuff help in tax evasion. There are hundreds of other strategies and routes to evade tax. Most of them we aren't even aware of. These rich people have a highly educated bunch of people working day and night to make sure their taxes are less than that of a truck driver. It is true that there are a lot of ways to evade money, but the initial steps, the narrow lane that leads to the billionaire's favorite road of tax evasion, goes through the valley of foundation trusts, charitable trusts, NGO, and welfare societies. Most of the lawyers advise their heavy-pocketed clients to form trusts under the name of a family member or so, and then redirect most of the business revenue into the trust and write it off the books as charity and donations. These are usually the safest, most secured routes to launder money before the eyes of everyone without being legally guilty. Every year, a lot of famous and popular brands and companies publish their financial reports and announce losses. You would often wonder the reason for such big brands incurring losses. It might feel a little weird to you, and trust me, your instincts are right. The corporations usually announce losses in business, even after a profitable run. This is done by the help of tampering balance sheets, financial books, and transaction history. And by doing so, legally, they avoid hundreds of thousands that was to be paid in taxes. There are times big billion-dollar corporations declare bankruptcy all of a sudden. This is not because they have incurred huge losses or because they have run out of money. In most cases, this is another trickery of the rich that they use to default on loans, huge tax liabilities, vendor payments, etc. When a company declares bankruptcy, all it means is the company as an entity is bankrupt and not the founders and directors. It means the company is out of money, not the company directors. After declaration, the founders often set up another company with a different name and get back into business. Cayman Islands, Mauritius, Luxembourg, Bermuda, St. Kitts, and Nevis. These are some of the tax haven countries where the taxes are either minimal and mostly zero. You would often find tax evaders taking vacations in these countries. They buy vacation homes in these countries and often form companies there, and then acquire their businesses back in homeland through these offshore shell companies. As with a foreign parent company, they get eligible to be exempted from all kinds of taxes in their own countries. After big loan defaults or exposed tax frauds, majorly the defaulters and fraudsters take asylum in these countries and invest some money there, in exchange of which the tax haven nations protect them. The elites never buy cars, houses, and other stuffs on their names, but use their company's name to register the purchases. This is a strategy where you enjoy all the luxuries and spend like mad, but own nothing, making you completely tax-free. All the purchases that you make when purchased under the name of your company or corporation is labeled as for business purpose, and this is like a nuclear weapon against tax authorities, where they would see it, they would know it, but will not be able to object to it. Riches often buy cars and deduct depreciation and recover the entire cost of the car in some years. Same is with the other purchases, even private jets. They buy expensive watches and claim it under professional gift and save taxes, not just on watches, but on almost everything. Tax evasion as a criminal offense has been so normalized and is performed at different levels by upper middle class to the riches, to the super riches, to the elites that it does not even feel like a crime to most. The idea behind being, why should I pay money to the government that I work for? These are usually the people who are seen nagging and whining about the government not doing anything for the country. But let's be honest, none of us would be okay to pay 1/3 of our earnings to somebody else. The only way to solve this, the government should work on policies that eradicate tax on income, or at least lessen it. But that could only happen if the government authorities get time from assisting the elites and super rich people to evade their taxes.